flooding, as you can see here. As a Category 4 storm and the 5th strongest to ever strike the U.S. This time-lapse video was captured on Sanibel Island earlier today, where winds reached 150 miles an hour. In just 30 minutes, the island was completely inundated with storm surge.
In Naples, firefighters were seen gathering supplies and equipment from a fire truck that was totally flooded. Storm surge in some areas have reached up to 12 feet and could have deadly consequences.
The storm is now moving north, downgraded to a Category 1, and is expected to be a Category 1 hurricane before reaching the Orlando area tomorrow afternoon. But Florida's governor says this is just the beginning.
The storm is doing a number on the state of Florida. It is going to continue to move through this state today and through much of tomorrow, and there's going to continue to be a number of adverse effects.
Massive storm. This is what it looks like from space.
Yeah, these images captured from the International Space Station. Storm Team 4 Chief Meteorologist Doug Kammerer begins our live team coverage now. He's tracking the very latest, and there is still a lot more to come with this one, Doug.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the storm came on shore earlier today around the Fort Myers area, just to the north of Fort Myers. Already in that area, just north where the eye came on shore, we're seeing rainfall estimates between 15 and 20 inches of rain down around that area, and that's what we can expect as this thing moves up the I-4 corridor up towards Orlando, up towards areas like Cocoa Beach and Daytona Beach, areas that so many of us have vacation. Now the storm making it.
So this means that the area, that I was in, like Clearmont, back in February 2020, that means that area right now is going to be flooded out. That specific campground, and that Love's Truck Stop, and the Wawa, and the Chick-fil-A, and Cece's Pizza, all right there on Highway 27 and Interstate 4, and there's an Amazon Prime warehouse close by too. So yeah, all of that is going to be highly affected in that area. So yeah, that's very surreal right there. That is very, very surreal right now. Just because I was there a little more than about 2.5 years ago now.
Moving to the north-northeast at only 8 miles an hour.
Thing is crawling real slow.
Because that's going to allow it to produce tremendous amounts of rainfall.
That thing's crawling. It's going way too slow.
Towards shore as a strong storm, most likely making its way in around Savannah or around the Charlotte as a strong tropical storm with winds of 65 miles per hour. There's even some computer models now, producing a hurricane here. So we're going to have to wait and see and watch this very closely to see just how strong this gets. Areas from Savannah all the way down towards areas like Jacksonville now under storm surge warnings as well. Jacksonville could see 4 to 6 feet of storm surge. So we are not done with Ian just yet. And of course, after that, it moves our way just in time for the weekend.
All right, Doug, thank you. We'll check back with you in a few minutes.
Okay, watch this leaning palm tree. The howling wind just snapped it like a matchstick. We have watched images like this all day long from across parts of Florida. Reporter Chris Hush continues our team coverage now from Naples.
Mayor of Naples says in her 33 years of living here, Hurricane Ian was the worst storm to hit home. In fact, at the height of the storm, police couldn't respond to more than 150 calls, specifically because of the severe storm surge that this area saw. Tonight, Naples is still under a curfew.
Wind gusts exceeding 80 miles per hour. Life-threatening storm surge. Relentless.
There was a mother and a child, and the next thing I noticed, it just took me. I had to hold myself up, and then I see the little kid just like a little water slide coming all the way down here.
Longtime residents in Naples say Hurricane Ian is unlike any storm they've witnessed here before.
This is wild and crazy right now. Didn't expect it to be this bad.
And then it went to devastating.
Naples Mayor Teresa Heitman says at least 8 people, sightseeing, even kayaking in the flooded streets, had to be rescued. At one point, first responders blocked from responding to 157 calls. The record-breaking storm.
I want to know about the homeless. I want to know if anyone was homeless.
flooded out.
Are we putting this curfew in place because?
And they shouldn't be running electrical stuff during that flood.
Part of this,
Shouldn't be doing that.
what's going on, which is absolutely the worst thing they can do. So as soon as that water recedes, we have to identify what we're up against.
Tonight, it's still unclear what this powerful storm leaves behind.
After the storm goes through, it's all the water, obstructions in the road, difficulty getting out, getting emergency care.
Telemundo.
Tonight,
Oh.
tens of thousands of customers in the surrounding county remain without power, but a sign that the storm is in fact pulling away. Collier County officials tell me that they are starting to clear some roadways out here that are and shelters. In Naples, I'm Chris Hodge. Now back to you.
As Hurricane Ian plows into Florida's Gulf Coast, President Biden is reassuring Florida residents that the federal government is ready to help. FEMA pre-staged millions of liters of water and meals, as well as cots and generators and fuel. Hundreds of FEMA workers are on the ground ready for search and rescue. Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis activated 5,000 National Guard troops, with the Pentagon saying more are on standby in neighboring states. And in Virginia, Governor Glenn Youngkin has already declared a state of emergency ahead of Ian's arrival. The governor released a statement saying, quote, "We want to ensure that our communities have the resources needed to respond to and recover from any potential effects from this storm," end quote. Storm.
And the storm is making its way onshore down to the south of Tampa. That brought onshore flow towards the Fort Myers area, but offshore flow around Tampa Bay. There was no storm surge. As a matter of fact, Tampa Bay actually went and was blown in towards the Gulf of Mexico. Down there right now, Angie Lassman, meteorologist for WTVJ, and a good friend of mine. Angie, what are you seeing down there this evening?
Okay, speak.
I'm a little jealous of you dry in the studio right now, but I can tell you the rain has really lightened up since earlier today. We saw ample amounts of rain falling in this area. They've seen south and west of us, but even still, the winds were impressive. We saw tropical storm force sustained winds in this area. We saw hurricane force gusts in this area out of Tampa Airport, winds peaking at 74 miles per hour. But you mentioned something very interesting that a lot of folks had traveled out to the Bay to see through the day today, going against emergency authority orders of staying inside and sheltering in place. The Bay, it was sucked out. We know the circulation around those systems around Hurricane Ian is counterclockwise, and that meant impressive storm surge along the southwest coast, but it meant that water recedes out of the bay for folks in this area. That's exactly what we were seeing earlier today. It continues. Many of the exposed land that you see over there yesterday at this time was covered with feet of water. A different story at this time. And actually, we're looking at high tide tides happening around 3 to 4, Doug, and that means that just like in Irma, when this exact thing happened, where the water worked its way out, it eventually has to come back in. And around high tide time, they're expecting areas along the bay to see elevated water levels. Of course, nothing like what they're seeing in places to our south, but still noteworthy at least.
Angie, thanks so much for your work. I know it's been a long day for you, so get some good rest down there, my friend, and we will be watching as that water comes back in. Tampa definitely dodging a bullet from this one.
All right, thank you, Doug, and he'll be back in just a few minutes with more details on what we can expect next. Plus, get the latest on Hurricane Ian's path overnight as it progresses across Florida and makes its way north and east. News 4 today begins at 4 a.m.
In news close to home now, an update to a story we've been following for you in Prince George's County. Police tell us they have now identified someone they describe as the second individual involved in a deadly stabbing.
That stabbing happened just steps away from a McDonald's drive-thru in Hyattsville this afternoon. News 4's Jackie.
Oh, wow.
Investigation.
I think I've been
Both the
close.
drive-thru and the parking lot of the McDonald's in the 2300 block of University Boulevard were busy when the fatal stabbing took place just after 3 p.m. Prince George's County Police detectives and crime scene investigators.
I've been through there many times before, yeah. Holy shit. Not like at McDonald's, but I've been down University, yeah.
Second individual involved.
Wow.
And they're working to determine the circumstances.
The victim was pronounced dead at the scene. The restaurant has a number of exterior security cameras, but it's unclear whether they captured any images from the.
Oh, I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did.
Just steps from busy University Boulevard and next to a wooded area that serves as a cut for utility lines. Police describe this as a fast-moving and very active investigation. In Prince George's County, Jackie Benson, News 4.
We are tracking a developing story that's sending shockwaves and sadness through the hip-hop world tonight. Grammy Award-winning.
Yeah, well, I'm not too worried about that right now. But yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? Wow. I know the cameras definitely got that. So, you know, because the cameras are all around every McDonald's like that. They got them everywhere. Trust me on that. So, but yeah, have a great night, everybody.
For a solo performance of his mega hit Gangsta's Paradise.
Yeah, I don't really care.